Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today's movie is Somebody I Used to Know. It's a romance comedy written and directed by Dave Franco and co-written by Alison Brie. It focuses on Allie, a 40-something show host that's on her way out. Her show's been cancelled and her life isn't looking great. She's run out of friends and ends up heading home to her small hometown to get some much-needed R&R. She heads to her old haunt and runs into an ex-boyfriend, Sean, played by Jay Ellis, the one that got away. The two spend the night having the time of their lives and reigniting an old spark. Allie tries to push for something more, but Sean hesitates and calls it a night. Realizing how much she missed Sean and regretting who she's become, Allie heads to his house to tell him how she feels and discovers he's engaged to be married. This is a romantic comedy, so of course she barges into his wedding weekend to try and win him back. Allie competes with Sean's fiancée, Cassidy, for his attention, while a cast of comedic relief puts on performances in the background. The story takes a bit of an unusual twist and doesn't really present Sean as the type of guy that anyone should marry, but it does have a good message about following your dreams and not changing yourself to fit into a partner's life. Allie's journey is an embarrassing one in which she acts like a total donkey, inserting herself into the life of a guy she barely knows, attempting to ruin his wedding and his life, dragging up painful parts of his fiancée's life, and all because he showed cold feet a few days before his wedding. Alison Brie is playing an eccentric weirdo who's confident and funny on the surface but also severely depressed underneath it. She plays the emotions well and has great comedic timing as usual. There are lots of comedic moments found in the awkwardness of the whole situation, and the movie made me laugh a lot, mostly from how ridiculous it was. Like how much worse a cat person is to sit beside on a plane than a parent. The dialogue tended to be a bit childish and crass. A lot of the humor falls squarely into the dick and fart joke category. There are times when it works, and there are a lot of awkward, cringy moments that are hard to sit through. Like there's this scene in the bar where Allie is supposed to improvise some comedy rap lyrics to a famous tune, and I had to go through that scene at 2x speed to make it through. It was so awful I wanted to leave the room and just rethink my life. Fortunately for her, and me, Allie ends up being an interesting character. Despite going ahead with her awful plan, she obviously understands the complexities of what she's doing, and she ends up having an interesting transformation over the course of the film. She re-examines her own life while learning about and spending time with Cassidy and Sean. Kiersey Clemons as Cassidy gets the more interesting character of the two and has better chemistry with Alison Brie than Jay Ellis does as Sean. Sean and Allie seem like frat boys having a good time during the date montage, while Cassidy and Allie seem like they could be best friends. Sean in general isn't given much of a voice in the film, and Jay Ellis doesn't get to do much more than spectate and react. He spends most of the film watching the two women go at it. He seems like a wet noodle when he's around the women, and given Sean's character, it was hard to believe that either of these women would want him for anything other than his looks. Kiersey Clemons gets to play a woman torn between two worlds that's got to deal with some uppity ex-girlfriend barging into her wedding. She's a singer in a punk rock band, and she's much younger than Jay and Allie. Her story ends up being the most interesting part of the movie. The story takes a lot of twists and turns and throws a lot of red herrings around, but it's still kind of predictable. There comes a point where it's impossible to ignore the writing on the wall. For me, it happened about halfway through the film. Aside from the three main leads, the film has a few background characters played by people like Danny Pudi, Haley Joel Osment, and Julie Haggerty. They are a bit of comedic relief during tense moments or after watching some cringe-inducing scenes. Danny Pudi shows up as Sean and Allie's mutual friend from high school who's the only one to show any signs of morality in the movie. He limply attempts to dissuade Allie while making inside jokes and acting like old friends. It was great to see him and Brie again together and having fun, but Pudi doesn't get much else to do. There is also Haley Joel Osment playing Ellis's younger brother. He pops around every 20 minutes or so to make an out-of-date reference and act as the lovable weirdo. He's good for a few laughs. The story is fun and has a good lesson at the heart of it, but the movie is completely lacking in romance of any kind, and instead feels like a mix of bromance and personal journey. Production-wise, the film is a little subpar visually, but has a good mix of original and background tracks and makes effective use of its soundtrack. For the visuals, you have a shaky camera, and very basic back and forth cutting between actors as they interact. It looks alright, but there's really no reason for the camera to shake as much as it does. Sound-wise, there are a lot of catchy tunes, and the movie likes to use music to color conversations with an emotion or vibe. Two characters will be having a conversation and the music will just be there in the background, like it's on the radio, even though it isn't. The songs are mixed well with the conversations and never compete for prominence, but still do an effective job. The one thing I didn't like about Somebody I Used to Know is that the movie recognizes how ridiculous Allie's actions are, but it still makes light of them. The worst punishment she gets for her insane aggression is mild chiding from Danny Pudi, Jay Ellis, and Kiersey Clemens. She should have been screamed out of the building by both the bride and the groom once she revealed what she did. And honestly, I don't know why anyone would tolerate that kind of behavior at a wedding. It's an expensive once-in-a-lifetime, hopefully, event that she managed to make all about herself. Overall, the story is a lot of fun. There's some good music and a lot of laughs. There isn't any romance, but honestly, I was kind of relieved about that given the premise. I ended up being entertained even if it does have its flaws. 6 out of 10.